Oh, one. Here we go. One moment here.
Yeah, we don't have any audio coming out on stream.
How's it now?
All right, I've turned. Let's see how it is.
Yep. So I should be audible now? Or do we just need
you are coming through on stream now.
Cool. And then hopefully Discord audio is not too loud there. Okay, sounds good, says Fiery. Awesome, hello. So, can everyone hear us now? Who doesn't love technical problems?
Not even really much of a problem, all
I
things
know,
considered.
right? Nobody died. How boring.
Nobody died.
Yet.
Optimism.
How many people must we kill to dig this trench for this tank?
All of them.
Hundreds, ideally. Right. So, now that everybody can actually hear me, we did start on this a little bit before stream, just to get magnets put in place, so that you didn't have to listen to me drill things, since that's not the best sound. So that resin bit gets to chill out for a minute while we do this. In other news, how's it going, folks? How we doing tonight? Did everybody get a drink of water? Some of you have been here a while. Hydration check.
Well, I have a question for you here.
Yes.
What is the advantage to using magnets to attach the gun barrel on the tank as opposed to just fixing it in place?
Yes, 1 second, and I can show you the primary reason, which is these right here, which are other guns.
I see.
The other reason being, when I paint this is largely going to be metal. The rest of the tank hull is actually going to have a painted color to it, so this just makes my airbrushing life a lot easier. But largely it is also to deal with the fact that there are non-this barrel weapons that I wish to have affixed to the tank. So that goes right like so. How well are we fitting? Or wait. Wrong way around. Wrong way around. We'll get it figured out. So
There's only so many ways it can go on there. One of them has to be right, eventually.
Eventually.
See, you say that, but these things are like USB ports.
You have to check it 3
Flip
times.
it around 5 ways.
Oh, hey, real quick, from 9 minutes ago, King and Laylee donating the $69.
Nice.
Cup dim noodles, y'all.
Love you,
that's-
King and Lele.
That's the funny number.
Nice.
Can I get some nice in chat, y'all?
Can we get a big nice in chat? Alright, so this is going to carry our tracks. We do not need this.
Which spelling nice the Canadian way? Wrong.
No, that's the Gundam way.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, okay,
Nisei.
Shadow. What about yourself a little bit?
Right, oh, so I'm OpaqueShadow. I streamed a lot more before the fun times we are currently living in. Boy, am I tired of living through historical events. Largely, I do Warhammer 40,000, which is what we're seeing here tonight / this morning / whatever your local time says it is as far as parts of the day. Beyond that, tech worker out of Seattle, who doesn't love some of that going on. Mostly, when I do stream, it's pretty low-key. We mostly just chill, talk about nonsense, occasionally 40k lore, and, you know, build tiny plastic fight mens instead of the usual large plastic space robots that we might be used to with Gunpla. Although I do build some of those as well, just haven't done any on stream. Alright. Other than that, not really a huge amount to tell. I also have my wife along with us this evening, who, if you're on Twitter, you may recognize as Mega Sasha. She does not stream. She does do horrible shape crimes with 40k stuff, however, which is always a delight.
I built monstrous robots and elves.
It's not crimes if it looks good, and from what I've seen, it definitely looks good.
Yeah, it does. Alright. Let's see what Forge World wants us to do to make these click together, because these are gonna be weird. By the way, don't you love the standard sheet of printer paper folded in half being your instructions? Get to that.
I mean, at least they provided instructions.
Yeah.
These are the same. Lovely. Love it. Alright, as I recall, there is not a resin bottom for this, so we will need this fella. Because what we are about to witness is the joy of making a precision molded injection plastic part fit alongside the absolute treat of resin. That is backwards, I believe. Yes, it was. Okay. Because this goes like so. Yes, yes it does. Nice thing is, unlike in the Gunpla world, we do not have to care nearly as much about stress marks in our plastic. As long as we sand what's visible back later, all of this is getting painted. Magnus did many things wrong. Yeah, yes and no.
I mean, it's more than just Magnus's fault.
Oh, it's...
But Magnus is not free from fault.
Magnus is just an idiot.
Thank you for being here, Stroud. Have a good night.
Rest well, Stroud.
I love you.
No. The Horus Heresy is a special variety of sad and dumb.
I don't know if we had the Deathcore of Krieg during Horus Heresy. I'm inclined to say no.
We did not. They are explicitly post-heresy.
So under Old War, their origin was during the Heresy, but like during their update for the Siege of Vrax, they moved it to like 2 centuries before the 13th Black Crusade.
Yeah. So the story of what happens to their planet, I believe, starts during the Heresy, if I'm not wrong, because they explicitly rebel as part of the Heresy, but they go independent.
No. That's the old War.
Oh, that's
that got retconned into a recent rebellion.
Well, that's the interesting thing about 40k lore to me, is that it doesn't really retcon anything. Like, they can say 2 conflicting things, and they are both canon. It's just, they might not both be true, but they're both canon. Which I hate, but I love at the same time. So
every story is told by an unreliable narrator.
Yes.
Yes.
Explicitly.
By the most unreliable narrators.
Like the...
Yes.
The literal tagline...
So what if none of it is real? What if it's all just a story being told by some guy making
a war game?
miniatures for an army game?
It would be very on brand for GW.
Yes. So like the tagline for the Games Workshop book line, which is Black Library, is quite literally that all of this is in some way propaganda from whoever the point of reference character is, and sometimes it's not clear who that is.
I doubt that most of our audience is going to be familiar with Caiaphas Cain, but that man is just walking all the stories about him just walking propaganda. I love it.
I'm 7 feet away from Opaque, that's why I'm muting on and off instead of over echoing.
Yeah,
This is
there's
fine.
not much we can do about that, Fiery. My apologies.
Well,
We try.
if you want, you can set Discord to push to talk, and that should keep some of the echoing down.
Sadly, I do not have buttons to push. My keyboard is normally right there.
That's true. I see that.
I'm just push to talking on my actual headset.
Ah, yes, limited edition posters. Thank you, Nightbot, for reminding everyone. Do we still? We surely we're out of posters by now, or did Jason decide to print more?
I think we still have some.
They are still in stock at the store, which means that some of the original 50 are still available.
Yee. No worries, Fire. So we do have not only those super sick posters, but if you want to get something along with your donation, the proceeds from buying these from that same store, assuming Fall Dog still has some available, do also go to the charity. These are pretty slick. So this is a color shifting acrylic base. This takes a standard Bandai action base stand and a little round for if you've got, weapon effect parts or something crazy. Or if you've got a frame arms grill, theoretically you could attach her to that as well. Okay. So let's take a peek here. So this is fine. Can't assemble the sidewalls yet because we're also going to need to put magnets here once I get sponsons ready. We need to make sure everything fits. So
Putting sponsons on a Leman Russ? What is this heresy?
yes, they're pretty good.
It's been a while since I've done anything in the rules, but the last time I played, it was they were too expensive.
So we're now on 9th edition, technically is what it is. It's not being called 9th edition officially, but it is the 9th new core book for 40k, and you like sponsons on these.
Okay. Cool. I always like to see more guns.
Don't we all? That orky urge to have more DACA. Okay, so if I can show this to chat, we are gonna have to do maybe a little bit of because the track's gonna fill that gap. Awesome. I don't have to deal with that. What we're gonna want to do here is get this in place and this in place and make sure everything's sensibly attached. Okay. Excellent. We have half of a tank. And I have saved us all from the joys of listening to a power drill and or watching me saw things in half. Sadly, watching me use a saw is not as entertaining as certain other internet personalities who, might work with a strange ceiling product. Yeah, the picture for those, Fiery, is not ideal. Also, hello forklift. I hope your nap was good.
I'm sorry to hear that you're here to talk about giant robots. This is 40k hour.
40k has giant robots. I have several 40k giant robots. Let me see. I believe there is a piece on the front here. I am missing. Gonna go to
40k has the real giant robots, not the tiny ones like Gundam has, where they're like, here's our 15-meter robot, here's our 140-meter robot.
Here's our robot that has a literal giant cathedral on the back of it. What's up? They've introduced a medium size between that one and a Warlord now, too, which is quite funny to me.
Yeah, someone introduced me to those, and I was like, I don't like the way it looks.
That's fair. I actually super love those, but I'm also a giant Titan nerd, so I'm unstoppable with my lust for giant Imperial robots.
I think knights are really the sweet spot for me. I like the normal knights. The armigers are adorable.
Yeah, the armigers are pretty cute. We've got a few of those. Sasha turned one or two of them into a spider. That's always fun.
Gurren Lagann wants to know your location.
Gurren Lagann wants to... Do you believe in...
I want to believe that the 40k universe could take on Gurren Lagann, just because the 40k universe is written in just such a way that there's something that could take it on. But on the other hand, manly fighting spirit.
On the other hand, have you seen my drill? To be fair, 40k also has giant drills.
It does.
But can your drills drill through the universe itself?
They can drill through a lot. They're...
Okay. So you take your drill, your termite assault drill, and you go into a portal to the warp, and you have categorically drilled through worlds.
Yes. I mean, there's that drill we never got a model of in the Mechanicum novel that literally just roves through Mars as it pleases. Okay, we're gonna have to very gingerly execute everyone's favorite thing to see on a Gunpla modeling stream, which is super glue coming out. Because it is about that time. Because I think this is about as good of a fitment as we're gonna get, and I honestly don't have complaints about it. So, what we're gonna wanna do is get... God, holding on to this is pain. I cannot wait to glue you. Our dear friend, Maxicure. Just gonna run a bead along here. This will make sense in a second. Push it in. And once that's done, we're going to grab a mysterious glass bottle of Instaset. Because unfortunately, unlike a Gunpla, you do need to glue these. Excellent. Now for the inside here. I'm not going to paint the inside of this. We don't need to worry about that. On the full-on plastic kit, there's ways to have this be open where you can, but for the purposes of the resin kit that I'm currently building, not something I'm concerned about doing. It is impossible to get this on film. So I fill that cavity and Instaset it as well. And yep.
Orcs are honestly still pretty much the best.
Oh yeah, they're the only race that ever has like fun.
They have a definition of fun, yes.
Orcs are great.
In one of the recent novels, they finally had an Inquisitor address that the orcs and their belief system may in fact have allowed them to win the setting. No one else is happy.
Even from like a modeling point, orcs are wonderful. You can scratch build all the stuff. It's like one of my favorite kit bashes I saw was someone used the Ariok Power Claw from the full-size Forge World Warlord Titan, and they're like, yeah, this is a truck now.
Ah, yeah, the truck. That I love that truck. Every time somebody asks me about, why are orcs cool, I post that truck. Sasha,
Yeah.
find a picture of that truck and post it in the Twitch chat. The people need to see.
What I know about 40k orcs is that it's all based on what they believe works. If
Yeah.
they think something works, it'll work. And I know that there's a joke about shooting orcs with guns without ammo by saying bang.
If you do it convincingly enough, in theory, yes. So the trick there is orcs used to be a super species of genetically engineered soldiers called the Korp. Yes, I know, hilariously original name scheme. The Korp were a super species that had a psychic super ability to basically make their technology out of anything, and as long as they believed it worked appropriately, it would work. What this leads to in the modern day is orcs not being aware of this power, but still utilizing it to make all of their ridiculous nonsense work.
Their psychic power smooths over the wrinkles in reality that say no, this shouldn't work.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
But wait, this isn't physics. What's all physics, boys? And for those who aren't aware, the entire joke with orcs is that they are British football fans.
Yeah, they're hooligans. They're great. 40k is full of a lot of stereotypes that some of them you might not be all that. I don't know where I'm going with this, but orcs are great.
I mean, the trick with 40k is that if you're not aware of the, like, 1980s British political and comics books landscape, you're probably going to miss some of the jokes. Because it is a very British product in the way that the people who made it.
And yet the game is measured in inches.
It's because it was still the 80s when they still used inches.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, what do you think that the 80s were? Nobody used metric back then.
I have many ideas about what the 80s were, several of which will get us shut down on Twitch.
Okay, we're going to cheat because we actually don't need the gluing surface this gives us. And I need this to lie flat. And am I? Let's put OBS over here so I can see what's going on in its part of existence. No. Orcs are pretty great, and yes. Someone has mentioned the painter red. Yes. Red makes it go fast.
I have a different favorite lore bit, and I'm sure you'll correct me on this if I'm wrong, because you seem to be the Krieg expert here, but it's also in relation to commissars. Usually in guard regiments, commissars are there to shoot people that are trying to run away, to keep them in line and charging the enemy with bayonets attached. From my understanding, Krieg's commissars are there to keep men from suicide charging with shovels.
Basically,
love it.
Yes.
I love it.
The shovel part specifically is a bit of an overplayed meme about the Death Corps, but the rest of that is basically how it works. Their commissars are also there to facilitate communications with other regiments. Death Corps members themselves have a slight tendency to insult the members of other regiments for not being willing to suicide charge the enemy. You're basically a poser guardsman. How dare you not suicide charge the enemy?
They're a bunch of asocial clones told that they should sacrifice themselves in the name of the Emperor, and that shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fieri, like a 40k anime, like just reading stuff on paper you would think that would work great, but I think that the setting is just too...
So I've got good news for you. There's several of them being worked on.
Uh-oh. Am I about to eat crow?
There are several of them in the works, officially with Games Workshop. Some of them were fan animation projects that Games Workshop literally just hired and said, hey, you work for us now, keep building the exact same thing you were already, just do it while we pay you. Some of them are things that Games Workshop started. They're not anime in the sense that they're Japanese animated. They, most of them have a very particular Western CG style, but they are working on multiple such projects, Fiery.
Are you meaning stuff like Astartes then?
Astartes is one of the ones that got hired, yes.
Okay, I was picturing in my head like a very Japanese anime style thing, and I was about to be very worried.
Oh no, that I don't believe is happening.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, the Astartes series is... I wouldn't say it's a great introduction to 40k, just on account of there's no talking. But it's lovely animation.
Yes.
I would say it really well gets across the feeling you should be getting from a unit of Astartes.
Oh yeah.
It's very flavorful and in-universe with literally 5 words spoken across the whole thing.
Yeah, it captures the feel of the universe really well, which is part of why I imagine Games Workshop looked at it and said, yeah, no, we'll pay for this thing that has more views than literally any of our other marketing material to exist. Disco Vader, I imagine an immense amount of time, patience, and love for what they were doing. As such projects tend to be.
Yeah, and like when you look at it, like the shorts are like they're very short, especially the first ones. They're very short, and that's just to save on time trying to make this.
Yeah.
Like very short, very long in between them. It's great. I love it. It's wonderful. Everyone should watch Astartes.
You should watch Astartes after this stream. It is totally worth. Okay, there we go. Now it's fixed up. But no, the Warhammer 40,000 universe is insane, and obviously I love it if I'm the kind of psychopath who's putting together a Forge World tank. I'm willing to put up with this. This should tell you I love it.
I should go pick up the Titan.
You should go grab, like, the Warhound. I don't think Irgit Lom's gonna fit.
I can just grab her lower legs. Like, I don't have to pull the rest of her out of the box.
This is fair.
I've heard really iffy things about the Warhound Titan.
I have one.
Hmm?
I have both the Titanicus little ones who are in parts waiting to get painted, and I've got the bigger one who's partially assembled, also waiting to get painted. I'm waiting to paint the big one till after we move, because I don't want to scratch paint when we're moving house.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the iffy parts you've heard are.
Mostly in the legs, I believe people have mentioned, like just a pain in the ass to assemble. People that have done both in the Reavers say that the Reaver just goes together way better. And it's like, okay, I wouldn't expect that because of the extra weight from everything.
So I can't fit these in frame. Here is Irgit Lom's crotch. And then here is the base it's mounted on. Spinny spin. That is... What Titan is that?
Phantom Titan.
The Eldar Phantom. So, having built it, the Titans are definitely not for the faint of heart. They are an advanced modeling job. There is no way around that. They are not like your standard plastic kit where you're just gonna put it together and everything's gonna be fine.
It took me about 60 hours of work to prep and build the parts for the Phantom.
Yeah. Like they're huge, big projects. The Reaver was built after the Warhound, and they learned a few lessons. That's not a miniature, that's a bigature. Fiery, when it is fully assembled, it is the size of a toddler. So, yes.
Yeah, one thing that Forge World, at least when I was getting into 40k, one thing that they were very much known for was they did all the big stuff that Games Workshop wouldn't touch. So, like, the big meme that everyone had was, well, you should get a Tau Manta, which is a giant flying thing that has a wingspan of 34 inches.
It is a big enough vehicle you can, in fact, play a game of 40k on it.
Yeah, it weighs 28 pounds.
Okay, how's the profile look? That's not bugged out or anything to my eyes, so I think we're good. Yeah. So they still do the huge stuff. They also have an entire range for what's called the Horus Heresy, which is a lower level of science fantasy than 40k is. It's also generally only Space Marines instead of having all the Xenos factions. They've gotten very good at making some of those models. They're excellent. Forge World is largely a resin specialist, and the nature of the models they're building, like even this is like pretty complex for a tank. If this were the full plastic Leman Russ, this would be probably together already. But we've just now got the track supports on, so that's good. Like the Warhound went together pretty well. The problem is that they are designed to be fully posable. As long as it is possible for a Warhound to move a certain way, you can put the model in that pose, and it's a lot of work to get them finished and stable. Like, their Titans are a lot of work. There's not really a way around that.
I mean, anything that's got posable legs for 40k,
it's not even just
pain.
posable legs. Every toe on the foot.
Oh no. Then again, I whine about how the Plastic Knights don't have posable toes. So
yeah, a lot of people do. They released a plastic Warlord kit for Titanicus. The toes
yes,
on
I built that.
Yeah, the toes on that aren't posable, and a lot of people are upset, especially because the new War Master Titan has posable toes. Talking a lot about toes right now.
Yeah.
That's part of the course for this stream.
Toe talk.
Jesse, you've betrayed me.
Called out.
No, for 40k, like a big thing is basing your stuff, making it on a base that suits what you're going for, and when your feet that come with it are just a big flat plate, that limits your options for basing a lot, because you can't. It's harder to make it look like your giant stompy mech is stomping into a tank if you're stuck with these flat feet.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with a lot of the Titanicus Titans. They fixed it for the Warbringer, so that's that's better, but
GW makes a lot of questionable choices for builds that then crazy people like this guy and me have to go in and fix.
yes.
Other times they make things that are wonderfully posable.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. God, the Manta. Yes, the Manta is legendary in its hugeness, only matched by the metal Thunderhawk from the 90s. The range of your Exorcist Spinchel launcher, yeah. Disco Vader wanted to build a Stampa. Stampas are cool. That's the justification. That's it. Mm-hmm. And the Mr. Potato Head Stomper. I have seen that. It is. Orc players are a treat. Let's put it that way. They are a treat.
Real quick, we got a donation. Ray C donating $5 via Streamlabs charity. Thank you very much.
You on mute?
And then as far as posability goes, some of the kits that get put out can be incredibly fantastic.
The I mean, the base model is the Necron. Necrons just make such good kit dash water. What can I say?
Oh, sorry, Fiery. I think we're good. Disco, that is Mechanicus. Okay, sorry, I had my mic on mute, so we didn't echo. That was a Dark Mechanicus Magos my wife converted out of a Necron Tombstalker?
Yep.
And that's a Forge World kit. So basically, every single one of those little black segments on its back is an individually articulated piece of kit.
And it came with 30 sets of legs in different extensions and poses so that you could pose it as you pleased. I really wish more Games Workshop kits did that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, largely with like 10-man squads of plastic dudes, it's not as doable. But, thank you, Fiery and Disco, yeah. No, I do not miss the old quote-unquote posable squat marines with their poop squat pose.
That's a take. Oh, which Marines are you talking about? Are you talking about just Firstborn in general, or like any specific editions?
Like the first.
The old Mark 6s. The Mark 3 and 4 are really good kits. I just built 40 of them. I don't like the Mark 6s 20 years later. They haven't changed much.
Yeah, the standard tactical squad is not great.
I like the options that you get in Firstborn squads compared to the Primaris sets, but lately I've just been kit bashing whatever the hell I feel like, so what comes in the box doesn't really matter.
So like my thing with Primaris, like a lot of people were ready to start doing Warhammer Fantasy, setting their entire collections on fire when they came out. The models just look better, and if I really want to repose any of my Imperial Fist army, I just have to be brave enough to cut. The Beakies at least have character, yes, exactly. Like, they've at least got something going on. I totally agree. I love, like, the old Beakies, but the generic Mark 6s or whatever, just do not do it for me. As it turns
Sorry,
out.
the Mark 7, or Mark 8, whatever the main kit was from, like, 93 until the Primaris came out.
Yeah.
Also, if you like my Mechanicus, I've got more of it on my Twitter. I have an entire converted army of, Necron heavy Dark Mechanicus.
There should be a little metal plate. Ah, here it is. By the way, friends, do not forget we do have, for $5, delightful prizes you can win, or you can enter to win for free. If you're unable to donate, just check the rules page. Nightbot has been posting it pretty consistently here. I am so bad about clipping stuff on stream.
Yeah, it's hard. I tried to get used to it in time for this, and I just could not figure out keep hands under camera.
Yep.
One of these days. Maybe in time for next charity stream.
Disco Vader. Thank you. On behalf
Thank
of
you
my
very
wife.
much. It's been an enormous work of love, and most of that has been in, like, the last year as I try to keep myself sane.
Trying desperately. The horror. I'm using glue. Ah, suka.
Fiery. I see this comment about I'm envious of plastic models, 1,000-yard stares at metal sisters. Did you not know that
They're
there's
plastic
sisters?
Home slice. There's Plastic Sisters.
Yeah, they came out with plastic sisters.
They're
great.
Huge range of Plastic Sisters.
And they're some of the best models that Games Workshop has ever put out.
I like the old Penitent engines, I'll be honest there. But everything else, yeah, they look great.
So the nice thing is if you have the old Penitent engines and you put them right next to the new ones, guess what? They fit, like, really well. Because our local...
The old ones are like 30% bigger, though.
They released a full range of Plastic Sisters. There is a replacement for every unit in the Metal Sisters, plus a whole bunch of new units, plus even more new units on the way. They have halberds and shields.
I mean, they also have those weird Terminator Centurion things.
The Nundum.
The Nundum.
The Nun. I love it. I hate it.
I mean, it's a
I don't
better-
know what a nundum is, but I have a feeling I can imagine it.
Sasha, get the Nundum.
I don't remember what it's called, so I don't know how to find it.
I'll search it up.
Give the people the Nundum they deserve. Perhaps not the one they wanted, but it's the one they're gonna goddamn get. Found out about the Moo Gundam or the new Gundam?
So there is technically a Moo Gundam, but if I remember correctly, it's very obscure item that really doesn't get any mentions.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of a Moo Gundam, but that sounds hilarious.
Here we go.
Oh, Disco Vader, the Bellacore model went up for pre-order today. It releases next week, so that is not surprising you haven't seen it. It is literally just now releasing. But also, yes, it's very cool.
That's about what I expected, Witch.
It's horrific. I hate it.
You're welcome. Fiery, I'm gonna be real with you. If you still have Metal Sisters, they might be worth a lot of money. If they're in good condition.
There's people that pay crazy monies.
Not as many anymore, but there are still some collectors. The Plastic Sisters, for some reason, undercut the resale market.
Go figure.
Weird. But yes, the Nundum. It is a thing that happened.
I wish it didn't though. They could have gone forever without that.
Sasha, get the Nundum. I'm intimidated. This has slain my wife.
Oh no! You should see to first aid or something, Ben.
Alright. Hello, Dispay.
Disco Vader, yeah, that's kind of the same thing, except Sisters of Battle are even more of a, I don't want to say meme, but that was a huge thing.
So to tell the story of this, GW, 2 or 3 years ago now, has started doing something they call the community survey. As you might reasonably guess, it is literally a giant survey of their community. They post it up on their site, and basically anyone can respond. The first year they did it, one of the biggest write-in responses of what thing should people do was Sisters of Battle. Now, they didn't release the complete numbers, but the number of people who did this as a meme was literally so high that in the fastest turnover the company has ever done for going from we're going to do this to models on the shelf, Games Workshop released Plastic Sisters, and they became one of the best-selling armies besides Space Marines almost overnight. So yeah. Plastic Sisters literally got to be an army because of the power of memes. Don't let your memes be dreams, kids.
Never let your memes be dreams. Just don't post memes in general, or people like Jesse and me are going to get mad.
Wait a minute, Witch. You do it.
No. They're not memes when I do it. They're just infographics.
They're only memes if they're from the Mem region of France. Otherwise, they're just sparkling shit posts.
Listen, Jesse. If I go to our memes our memes channel, then I have to moderate our memes channel, and I'd rather not do that.
Understandable. Have
Can't
a nice
make
day.
me moderate a channel I'm not in. Big thonk. I forget which.
Yes.
Wait, the sponsor's gone.
Fieri. Miniatures are wonderful. More people should do miniatures. All the Gundam people should pick up a miniature and paint a miniature.
You know, it's funny you say that. My path into miniatures was literally through Gundam on accident, so...
Okay, I went the other way. I started in 40k and made my way to Gundam because I wanted something that was easier to do, that I didn't have to paint, that I could just be lazy and snap build. Because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person. I was like, great. No paint, no glue, snap them together, maybe put a few stickers on if I feel like, looks great, slap it on the shelf, I get a good looking room out of it. And then I can spend 5 years working on a single model. One day I'll have an army complete.
Let's see, I've got 4 Age of Sigmar armies to finish. 3 40k ones, and my wife and I here also have a joint project, which is Forest Heresy era Night Lords. So yeah. Ask me about finishing models. Rex Yoda? Tips for first models. Yeah, it's the easiest thing in the world to decide. Pick one you think is cool, and go with that. Fiery, the new Sisters are gorgeous. Yes, they are some of the best sculpts that GW has ever done. They're not like the only good ones, but they are genuinely very good.
That advice goes even more so if you are planning, if you think you might get into playing the game and want to make an army, because there is nothing worse than trying to force yourself to build build an army of models that you don't like looking at.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, well, I'm gonna build an army of gyms, but I hate gyms, it would get awful and you might not stick with it, and that's not what anyone wants.
Yeah. I will say, if you want to get into the game but you're not sure, you should look up something called Kill Team. It is small scale Warhammer. It's a pretty good inroad, because you can generally get in with like a box or two of dudes and maybe a character.
At most 20 models in the game.
Yeah. Literally, there is a hard limit of 20 models.
How am I supposed to bring my giant stompy knights to a kill team game?
Play 40k. Play 40k and stop power gaming.
The Battletech answer of, oh, you wanted to bring a mech to the RPG? Just play Battletech, loser.
Let's see. Debating getting a Carnosaur. Carnosaur's a cool model for a diorama, but you've got a Menoth army and Adjudicator. Oh, War Machine. Yeah.
Those are models. I have some.
Some of them are good, some of them were trash. That company is probably going to be bankrupt soon, due to their mismanagement. Yes. We will... We're not going to go into the reasons for the sake of the sanity of the stream, but...
Okay.
Let's just say that that company was being ran by people who don't know how to run a company or really build a positive community.
They spent like the last 4 years shooting themselves in the foot and getting literally everyone of value in the company to quit.
Which, as it turns out, does not do much. So we're both in Seattle. We're very close to where Privateer Press is headquartered. So we hear a lot of what goes on with them. And yeah.
When a bad decision causes half your staff to walk out in one day, after you've already gotten your rules writer and your sculptor to walk out weeks before, things aren't going well.
Yeah, it does not sound like a good time.
No.
You already missed cheap Privateer Press minis. In late 2019, people were running them for 95% off because things went bad for them.
Yeah. These days, you'd be lucky to actually find them anywhere but Privateer's site. Privateer fire sells stuff every now and again. Yeah. Also, Disco Vader, what I'll say is, if you've been sitting on a project for a long time and not working on it, but there's another one that you actually want to actively work on, that's okay. Like, do what's actually actively interesting. I've got an entire platoon of Deathcore that I just haven't built or painted yet, sitting in a box next to me here, because I haven't had the energy to build that full infantry army. Like, backlogs don't have to be piles of shame. That's why I actually don't refer to it as the shame closet. There is a closet full of miniatures sitting behind me, actually, along with some Gundams I haven't built. Some of them I have plans for, some of them are things I'm not totally sure what I want the final product to be, but like, there's nothing wrong with you because, well, this project that I eventually want to get done, I don't want to get done right now, but I still want to have the pieces for it.
To me, there's nothing worse than trying to force yourself through a project and compromising on stuff that you... and like, looking back and saying, I should have done this better. Like, you're always going to be able to look back and say, oh, well, I missed that, but when there's stuff that you've intentionally compromised on because you just forced yourself to work through it, that's a shame to me.
Yeah, the just get it done syndrome is a thing you really don't want. Now, there is a point to be made about perfect being the enemy of finished, which is also true. But there is like a happy middle where you're working on things you are excited to work on. It's like in the 40k land, we might paint a couple hundred of dudes who have the same color scheme. I've got 40 Death Corps infantry to paint, and that's not even a lot. That's actually a very small number of guardsmen.
Yeah, it's like one troop's choice, isn't it?
One troop's choice is a squad of 10, but you might have 50 guardsmen in an army depending on your build. I'm not going to paint all 50 at once. I might paint 10,
Oh lord.
and then I'll screw off and paint another, 10 eventually, after I've worked on maybe 2 or 3 other projects. Like, if all you ever did was eat cheeseburgers, by the end of a week, you'd really hate cheeseburgers.
I think the best I've ever heard it put was, if everything you did was your best, it wouldn't be your best. It's just normal. You don't have to judge yourself by it.
That's a really good way to put it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we've got this on here. We need some plastic card for where the magnet's gonna go, but we can see where the magnet's gonna go. Sick.
Yeah, one of the projects for 40k that I've been having on the back burner is the 40k Discord server. They have a server chapter color scheme that I've been working on putting together models for. I'm not sure why they call it the server chapter color scheme when I'm the only person I've ever seen doing it, but that's beside the point. But it's like, yeah, I get like 1 or 2 minis done on that a year just because I'm, like I said, I'm lazy, but at the same time, I don't want to try and force myself through this project. I'll get there eventually. It's not like it's plastic. It's not gonna go bad on me.
Yeah, it doesn't,
I'll get there.
it's not gonna like mold or something unless it's the perfect grade Eva, in which case it will. Every time I hear someone talk about that kit, like I saw Jason's video and I'm like, still glad I didn't build it. I'll take the real grades.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful and pretty and wonderful.
I still don't know what possessed him to smell it.
Smell it.
I mean,
Well, chat said smell it, so what else are you gonna do?
All right, well,
are you gonna ignore your
Chat says jump off a cliff. You gonna listen to them?
It's more likely
Sometimes.
the cliff is on fire than they're just crazy, I think.
if Chat told you to jump off a cliff, yes, Mom, I would. Sometimes plastic needs that layer of dust. Sometimes. Also, lavender. That is also a good phrase. Not necessarily super applicable because there is also an aspect of like not putting in effort where it doesn't matter. One of the things, like there's an inside to this tank that is totally sealed and no one can ever see. So I just glued it in unpainted. There's a bottom side to this tank. I'm not gonna paint that as well as the top because most of the time this tank spends is gonna be on a battlefield like that. There is a need to understand where your effort is going. Because if you never think about that, what you'll end up with is a really pretty bottom of a tank that you never get to enjoy.
I think that there's a different way that you could look at it. Like, your best doesn't always mean like always put your utmost ability into everything, but like know what the best use of time is for what you're doing. Know what the result you're looking for is, so you can best achieve that. Like if you're doing a squad of 50 conscripts or whatever, they don't all need to be painted to the same level as you would paint a Euro unit that everyone's going to be looking at. They just need to look cohesive as a unit, not as an individual.
Yeah.
So paint it to your best in that context.
A phrase from forgot. Super glue gets worn when you put Instaset on it. Don't chemical burn yourselves, kids. I've done that before. It doesn't feel great.
I think everybody has done that with when they first get it's the set stuff. It only takes once, and then you learn your lesson, though. Generally.
Generally, yes. It does tend to be a one and done kind of thing. We're going to put you in the tweeze so that I don't have to deal with your shenanigans. We're actually gonna whoop. Tear down. Oh boy. Who doesn't love
Also,
magnets?
congratulations on finding your God Gundam, New Lavender.
Oh,
It's a
sweet.
good kit. I hope you enjoy it.
I hope you have fun with your God of the Gundam.
Excuse you, I'm American. I have no idea which Gundam that is.
Sorry, is that the Burning Gundam? I literally don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Neither do I.
It's the Burning Gundam in the dub. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Burning Gundam.
Look, I watched it. I didn't say I watched it well. Fiery has a question here. What are those long tweezers?
So this is just a pair of what are called reverse grip tweezers. So basically they're built like a spring. Instead of squeezing them to shut, you squeeze to open. These are good for holding parts and water slides. They're just super long because that happens to be the pair I picked up. I use these for water slides a lot, so this can be quite helpful. Alright, let's sink this in here, like so. That. And insta-set with our delightful caustic chemical. Yeah, reverse tweezers are super nice. If you do a lot of water slides or stuff, I would advise getting a pair. Building Gunpla, they're not always as useful directly. If you do a lot of 40k, occasionally you find a use for them to like hold something in place. Okay. Now we position you. Sick. So we're gonna take this one off, put him down, and then through the power of magnets, that is the optimal position for that magnet, so we get to just douse it in super glue to hold it in, because this does not need to be anything particularly strong. And like that, we have a sponson without marring the surface finish of the outside. I can paint this, and then if I want to take these off, I can. Magnets.
How do they work?
I don't know. Ask the insane clown posse.
Jesse, you're a smart person that I always ask, how does this work? How does the magnets do?
Well, you see,
You've lost me.
magnets. Okay.
Too complicated.
You've lost me already.
Oh boy.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Thank you for your explanation.
A quick double check. Have we missed any donations while we've been blabbering about mini
We
tools?
have not.
Okie doke. Magnets hiding face.
Magnets.
Also, Ironhide, we are not cooking too much, although we do have some plastic resin marriage happening status. It's
We cooked your fingers thanks to that accelerant.
almost cooked them, yes. I once glued 2 fingers together and cooked them out with accelerant. That was not a good time.
Yeah. Same story here. It's like, oh no, I've gotten super glue all over my hand. My accelerant comes in a spray bottle, and it's just like, psh, psh, and then I knew pain.
Yes. That is part of why I use this instead of a spray bottle. Also because inhaling the fumes is super goddamn awful. Just the worst.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is, so this used to be just a thing of beard oil for caring for my beard, and then we washed them out and filled them with that. Okay, and now we can glue that into place. Tracks we're gonna leave separate so that I can paint those separate as well and then glue them on. Because there's nothing else that actually goes up in there, so there's no real reason to deal with all that mess.
Rex, if you want another really good source of like modeling knowledge, there's a lot of people on YouTube that do like walkthroughs and tutorials for like historical scale modeling for tanks, ships, that kind of stuff. Those people are incredible in the kind of stuff that they pull off.
Yeah.
I love watching videos just to be like, how did you do this?
Like, you
And
wanna...
then I get paint strong.
You want to learn to make really cool dioramas, check out, like, Luke Towen. He's a guy on YouTube who does, like, HO scale model trains. His train dioramas are great. And he's like, yeah, here's how you make ground that looks like real ground. It's not that hard, Fivehead.
Another big name that I enjoy watching is Plasmo. I think recently he did a Gym Sniper 2, if you want Gundam-specific examples. So he kind of came at that from a historical modeler point of view. But yeah, great content.
Yeah. Historical modelers are really good resources, honestly. Like, you see a lot of the really big names, even in Gunpla, like, oh god, the guy who did the really crazy Gym Sniper. I think it's Ray Studios?
Ray, yeah.
A lot of what he's doing is partially old school plane and train modeling with, like, making your own pistons if you wanted them to actuate and stuff like that. Like, that's not... Like, not to say that he himself is not a fantastic artist, but because he is, but, like, that's not something that's totally alien in the world. Like, that's techniques that have existed for a while, and, like, just look up something that's not a gunpla, and you will see.
And like, even if you, even if it's not an example that's like specifically what you want to do, just seeing examples of how things are done, you can use that as inspiration to be like, well, I can apply that in this situation, or I can apply this on that situation. If you read the manga on Meishin Kawaguchi III's backstory, he learns his early foundations via historical climb-up. Well, there you go. If the Meishin does it, it's got to be right.
If everyone's favorite insane model fiend does it, how can it be wrong? There we go. The joys of getting magnets into your big, hollow, empty spaces. Who doesn't love it? I know I do. He also sanded a cube into his perfect spear. Of course he did. That is the most Gundam statement ever. Thank you.
Speaking of cubes, I forget his name now. Yes, I remember now. There's this guy that I used to follow on Patreon for his painting tutorials, and then I realized his style really didn't suit what I was trying to go for. His name is Bohan. He does these super hyper detailed stuff. And I am trying to talk and type so I can search this up. And it's not working. But his style is basically just add more detail to flat surfaces. And one of the examples that I'm thinking of is just, it's a flat cube, and he makes it look ridiculously detailed. And I will find a picture of it.
So if you want to see like some miniature painters who are pretty wild, you should look up a competition called Golden Demon or Crystal Brush, either one of those. They're very large miniature painting competitions that get pretty crazy. One guy I follow a lot is called Richard Gray. He does a lot of freehand, basically oil illustration style stuff on his models. Wife, would you mind grabbing the Mortarian he did for the class?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there.
Richard Gray's Mortarian. The Gunpla Academy. I love Build Fighters and how stupid it was. Like, it is perhaps one of the most sincere love letters to the entire art of Gunpla I've ever seen, and I love it for it. Because, like, dumb crap like that one scene where Char and then Amuro and Sayla Mass just show up building Gunpla of the Gundams they piloted in the show. It's really great. Oh my god, we have a tank. Most of a tank. With his little bits. I didn't know there were build spin-off books, but now that I do, I want them.
Yeah, that's what the Polypod comes from, isn't it?
The Polypod's in the second season because one of the weird kids builds it because he thinks it's gonna make his sisters like him.
Because I know there was a thing where the
Hey,
Polypod
real quick,
and
thank
the
you for the raid,
Scorpion-
Beefcake.
Oh god, this link. Why are Facebook links so dumb? I hope this works. Okay, this Facebook link does work. So this cube is
Flat.
yeah, it's just a flat cube, and he's done an amazing job of just making it look 3D, and he posts tutorials on that. He's got video ones, he's got ones on his Facebook, and then he has ones on his Patreon.
Yee.
And it's incredible resources to learn from, even if you take his advice and then say, it's not my style, but
Yeah.
thank you.
So, to answer a question from Coleman, babe, mute, sorry, so, Warhammer uses a couple of things. You use plastic cement for anything that's actually made out of plastic, which is all this dark gray you can see kind of all over the place. For everything else, I am using super glue, Maxi Cure nonsense. Just because, obviously, plastic glue doesn't melt the plastic, or the resin, excuse me. But the rest of this is ABS plastic, just the same as, you know, what your standard Gunpla is made out of. Yeah. And, like, I also super glued in all the magnets because those are metal and, you know, again, still not plastic. Alright, we have most of the hull done, and we are an hour and 16 in. Sweet. This is actually going by pretty quick. So now we have some bits and bobs and gubbins to deal with. Come here, plastic Forge World bag. Who does not love a plastic bag full of bits?
I don't.
They're actually getting rid of these, by the way. They're phasing these out entirely.
What? They're phasing what?
They're phasing the old Forge World blue stripe bags.
Oh, okay. What are
They're
they putting them in?
Boxes. Let me...
Oh.
1 second.
I guess cardboard is definitely a more renewable resource. That's a good change to see.
Yeah, no. So this is a Thanatar Siege Automata. So this is what they're doing for basically everything now, except for their really nice models, which come in special boxes.
Right, I've seen the special boxes for the really nice big stuff. But this is new to me. This is very nice.
And then inside is this, like, double blister that's got all my parts. This is a Thanatar. He's kind of a chunky boy. So yeah, and also the glare off of this is terrible. But this is what the packaging looks like. The character series models, like all of the Primarchs, have a really nice, like, satin black box and stuff going on.
Titans will probably keep the bags just out of practical purposes.
They'll have the bags inside the box, but they're still boxed up. And that's just because you're not gonna build a blister pack that fits a Titan. Now I have to put this box away. Curses. Get in there, instructions.
We don't need instructions. Can we please have a list of the names mentioned written down for searching later? It's nearly 3:30 a.m., so I'll be honest, I can't remember any you just mentioned.
That is entirely fair.
I can't remember what names we've mentioned.
We mentioned Richard Gray. Babe, if you would link or write that out in the chat. Because I do not have a keyboard in front of me.
Gray with an A.
Richard Gray and Bohun, yes. Those are two separate people. No, Twitch chat could not give a career less how you format your text.
Yeah, nope, they do not care. Plasmo and Ray Studios were also mentioned, yeah?
Yeah, we mentioned
Gray. And then, who was the terrain guy? I know him, I've subscribed to him, but I'm dumb right now.
There's a lot of terrain guys.
We
I think you mentioned trains.
Oh, Luke Towen.
Trains and a GM Sniper too.
Luke Towen.
Yes, thank you everyone. As everyone races to...
We're working on it. Crowdsource a list.
And then for the front pental weapon, I'm not bothering to magnetize these because I just frankly don't care to. There's some gap filling that needs to happen. We're going heavy bolter. We also have the option of las cannon. I like bolters better, and also this las cannon. The bag that covers it, because this is a World War I style tank, has a little bit of a mold slip, which, you know, is a thing that's going to happen with resin. And I just don't want to clean that up. I'm lazy. I'll probably chop this up and use it as like a terrain bit later or something. In the meantime.
So this doesn't come with a flamer?
No, it does not come with a flamer. Flamers for these are sponson options. You can have two on the side. But as far as I recall, it's a bolter or a las cannon in front.
Maybe it's the other tanks that I'm thinking of that can have a front hull.
Flamer's on a different Leman Russ variant now.
Ah, is it? Okay.
It's also on the Chimera, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is the transport with all the guns.
I had a very brief guard army started, and my army was just 3 death strikes because, of course, who doesn't want death strikes?
I mean, valid.
Call the store on the other.
Yup.
Call the store on the other side of the state and tell them that you're firing a death strike at the table nearest the phone.
Yep.
Hopefully, it's a fantasy game.
Yep.
Yep. Stream literally unwatchable, no flamer.
So, for the joke with the death strike is the guard put an ICBM on a tank and then sent it to the front lines. It's unreliable as sin. It's got rules that it's like, well, maybe on this turn it can start. Roll your dice. Nope, not this turn. Maybe this turn? No. So once it eventually fires, it's got unlimited range. So you can just phone up a store down the state and be like, yep, target that table.
Okay, there we are.
What do you mean they're playing Magic the Gathering?
Well, someone's planeswalker is now dead.
Yep.
And then if we get time to, which I don't think we will, so I'll probably be doing it on a stream of my own. You can see here, folks, there is some gaps here, and then this more egregious gap down here. We're going to be filling that. As for those who aren't familiar with resin kits, what I was doing before with the knife was scoring both sides of that. That just creates some breaks in what is otherwise a fairly smooth surface to give the super glue something to grab, so I don't have to worry about this part like getting knocked off once the glue sets. Speaking of things, where do you go again, little friend? Ah, yes, you go like so. I think I will on this one do the capstan just to give some thickness. Another thing we're probably not going to have time to do here, but which I will be doing on my own time, is quite topically making some stowage of my own. If you are not familiar with historical tankery, the Death Korps of Krieg is basically based on World War I. If you've ever read All Quiet on the Western Front, you can think of that kind of as the feel that this army has. So I'm going to do some World War I style tanker stowage on this. Some sleeping bags, stuff like that. Some of it's already here with like the pre-molded tools. We're just going to add some more to give the tank some character, and also because these rear sections of track will have... I have a photo of it here somewhere, or maybe I don't. Basically some armor plates that are going to go over top that are usually pretty plain and are a pretty good spot to put something like that.
Something here that I think we might have missed. Disco Vader donating $16. I'm calling it a night, but good luck with the Leman Russ and the rest of the streams.
Alright, well,
Thank
Disco
you.
Vader, apologies we missed you, but thank you very much.
Very sorry. Thanks for donation, though.
Lol, Seinfeld playing right now. I wish we could fire a death strike on Seinfeld. I don't care for that show very much. I'll be honest. Fiery, you can totally use super glue or baking soda to set super glue. My problem with doing that as a whole is largely that super glue is obviously a thing with mass and texture. You can get this stuff called Instaset. Babe, could you grab me one of the bottles out of the... She's running to grab me one of the official bottles instead of my recanted one. It's basically a chemical that causes the same reaction. Yeah, we're gonna cover the label here, but this stuff, super glue accelerator, also called Instaset. Typically it comes in either huge bottles like this or in an aerosol spray. I don't like the spray because it smells super awful and makes my throat burn. But that's a much better thing to use when you're dealing with models where you don't really want to add the mass. Baking soda is still good though, specifically if you want to do just something up as like snow. in super glue, you can get that kind of effect as well, or do it in PVA.
The other thing is if you need to like bulk up a joint for some reason, like there's just not enough contact area and it's going to be hidden, you can kind of bulk up behind it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I see more in Gunpla.
Okay, we're gonna leave this off because all of this smokestack is gonna be metallic. These lads, well, very cool, are also going to stay off for painting because, again, these are going to be giant pieces of metal. So what these are one of the more interesting things on this tank. So these are trench rails. Basically, in the olden days where tanks were, you know, a thing everybody had to worry about, one of the ways to screw up a tank is to literally just dig a trench too wide for it to drive over, because then it falls in. Trench rails were invented to mitigate this problem. It's literally a rail, mounts like this, and then as the tank falls into the hole, it catches and just keeps sliding forward because of that little metal brace, or, you know, the two of them in pair. And that's where we mount those. Other things. I don't want to mount any of the dudes, obviously, so I think we are on to considerations such as other weapons and some other shenanigans we need to worry about if we're gonna do.
So the only resin, like, main turret gun that this comes with is
just
battle cannon, right?
Just the battle
Or the-
cannon. And then we've got the twin las, the demolisher cannon. Whoop. Thanks, plastic. The standard battle cannon, just a slightly different barrel that I'm probably not going to worry too much about. And then I believe there is a Punisher Gatling cannon on here somewhere. Maybe.
Pretty sure that's
I
in
think
the other
Punish-
Leman,
yeah,
the
that's
Leman
the
Russ
other
kit,
one.
the Demolisher kit.
Ah, that's the other thing I was
Yeah.
worrying about right now.
Yeah, the other one has the plasma cannon, the Gatling, and something else.
I almost forgot the other part that I wanted to make sure I got built. Ladies and gentlemen, does your tank have a dozer blade? If not, talk to your doctor about getting a dozer blade for your tank.
You want to talk about dozer blades? Let's talk about the mighty Space Marine Vindicator.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. I hate the regular dozer blade. It comes in a Rhino, but I love the Vindicators.
Why give your tank just a tiny snowplow when you can give it a massive shield across the entire front of it with just a giant gun sticking out the front?
And we were talking about tank stowage earlier, so these are some examples. Fuel cans, bedrolls and stuff, cables for towing, pickaxe, shovel, fuel tanks, ammo crates, all kinds of spicy stuff. The problem, of course, with the plastic molded ones, they only lie flat one way, and stuff like bedrolls here tend to look a little fake, even when they're well painted up. They're pretty easy to build your own out of just green stuff, which is a 2-part epoxy putty. Absolutely heinous stuff from a perspective of, like, not being crap, but it gets the job done, as the language goes. Is that the right way?
So if I understand you don't care for green stuff too much.
No. Like, I don't care for most epoxy putties, partially because sculpting is not, like, a thing I'm super into or good at, but on stuff like this, it's like, it gives the model a little bit more individual character to have the crap that its actual crew has put on it, rather than just leaving it bare.
Yeah. Lately I've been switching to Milliput, the extra fine stuff. I've been having pretty good luck with that.
Yeah.
Other than than that, I've been meaning to try epoxy sculpt. I'm
Epoxy
not sure the
sculpts?
correct. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That stuff. And I haven't tried the GSI Creo stuff, the Mr. Hobby stuff yet.
Yeah, there's a couple I haven't tried. They're slightly different in property. For me, it's just a little bit of a part of the modeling experience that I'm not super in love with yet. Maybe one day, when I'm better at it, I will be, but mad cuz bad.
Hello.
In the meantime.
Hello, Metallic 187. Hello. We are working on right up here. It is a Deathcore Leman Russ. This is from the Warhammer 40k universe. It's a tank with a big gun and a dozer blade on the front.
Optional dozer blade, but if you have the option, why would you not?
Because you don't have enough points. Or do you not pay points for dozer blades anymore?
I don't remember, but we can look it up real quick.
So basically, this is for a game system. If you're not aware, you build your little army men, and you find someone else who has little army men, and you're like, we should fight. So you take all of your tanks, and you make a parking garage because you're playing Imperial Guard, and then you hope that your opponent doesn't like drop pod in people with anti-tank guns.
Let's see here. Executioner plasma cannon, heavy bolter, flamer, hunter killer missiles, Punisher Gatling cannon, war gear options, vehicle.
Yeah.
Dozer blade.
Chests.
5 points.
Chess is a pretty good way to describe it. It's a lot more free than chess. Like you're not locked into a grid. It's like this unit can move 6 inches and it can move any direction. But yeah, chess is a good way to think about it.
Yeah, chess isn't necessarily wrong. It's probably the most common equivalent that people are gonna know.
Yeah. You have different units that do different roles, and you have objectives that you need to complete.
And it's a spectacle game where, you know, you've got the Catholic space Nazis fighting the literally possessed Satanists, and it doesn't really matter who wins. It's going to be really cool.
They're both evil. Where is the rest? Because they don't ship the normal instructions. Where are the rest of these dozer blades? I will have to have a poke at that later. I think I see the bit it's supposed to be. Yeah, because that fits on one way around. And then there needs to be a filler in there. So let's take a peek at the old sprue here. These are mostly main weapons, which are going to have to get magnets. We might do that next, just so I can show some of that. And also have it done. We've got smoke launchers and tow hooks. Tow hooks, tow hook. We've got the one right there. That's, I think, the part I need. Is there only one of the part I need? Is there not actually? That would be very disappointing, because I think that's the bit. No, that is not the bit, so I'm just crazy sauce. Oh, wait. Are you the bit? I think you might be the bit, and I'm just silly. Bonk. Bonk.
So are these Leman Russ kits new enough that they have numbered pieces on the runners, or is it still just look for the one that looks like what you need?
So there is not a single plastic kit anymore that does that, as far as I am aware.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's the part I need, and I was just being silly. So like these are numbered runners. We take an Or wait, is this one of the ones that's old enough? This is all tank storage.
It's the 2008 remake of the Leman Russ, which is better than the 2001 and the 1992 one.
Excuse me, no, this is totally unnumbered. I am wrong. The thing that makes it a little weird here is the Forge World kit doesn't come with the normal kit's instructions, just for whatever weird reason. They probably assume that if you're a psychopath and building a Forge World Leman Russ that cost extra, you're somewhat familiar.
Yeah.
Is it okay to ask a question? Yes, it is always okay to ask a question.
That was the one question that you got, though. You don't get to ask another.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody just gets one question.
Otherwise, we'd run out of questions, and then where would the world be?
Yeah. That'd be awful to run out of questions. So, okay, lol. Shoot, I want to hear your question about Grey Knights. I don't know a ton about them. I'm hoping that these people do.
I could tell you some.
Yeah.
We should have just started with this.
Maybe we can convince Jesse to tell us all about the Grey Knights.
Most I could tell you is that they are knights and they are gray. Maybe it's spelled with an E, maybe it's spelled with an A.
Amazing. Both of those things were wrong. Amazing. Thank you, Jesse. Do they make Grey Knights of Bloodborne GK? Oh, you're not meaning Grey Knights. Are you meaning Garage Kits?
Garage Kit. I don't know much about Garage Kits. What I can say...
I know a few sites where I can look some stuff up, but I don't know off the top of my head.
So you can check for Garage Kits. Have you heard about the Dark Souls board game? And the Bloodborne board game, both of which have models that you can paint. And are vastly easier to get a hold of. Forklift. So from what I've seen of Ray Studios stuff, he uses a mix of some kind of superglue brand that I don't think is available here in the US, and just regular plastic glue. Because he has some kind of aerosolized accelerator that looks like a white filled in super glue instead of just like the weird goopy off clear.
Hi, Indy Plamo. How are you tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm holding in there. Indy Plamo will be. Let me just double check. I believe you're our next one, or our next presenter.
Oh yes, thank you. That is a Torque.
At 0300 Jason time, Central Daylight Time.
So in about 20 minutes to go. Well, gosh dang.
Oh gosh, yeah, this has flown by.
Yep.
It's been very chill, very low key, but hey.
To answer this question, I am seeing at least some miniature scale Dark Souls stuff, a few busts. I'm seeing more available for Bloodborne stuff, 1/6 scale. Yeah. I don't know what any of these names mean because I don't Bloodborne, but they look cool. Body horror stuff.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, you can probably find some.
Yeah. If it's miniature scale, it's likely from the board game.
Yeah, it's probably recast.
It might not even be recast. The board game models were single cast. They were made pretty cheap and widely available.
The website that I mostly know is GKM. I know there's a few others. If you were around for the previous segment and saw Laylee floating around in chat, they know a lot more about garage kits than I ever will. They kind of introduced me to them. Gunflick Yaru clearly knows garage kits. They're probably a good resource to tap.
Yeah, I mean, Forklift, I'm not the only person with 2 hours, but no, this went by pretty quick.
Oh, is this only 2 hours?
Yeah, this is only a 2-hour segment.
You'll be joining me for a 3-hour tour. Hopefully we don't get lost at sea. And that's the quality content I bring. Good night.
Good night. No, you can't go to bed yet. We have money to raise.
Oh yes, that's right. My apologies.
General Resh, yes, they are the last entries that are currently open. You can either sign up for free in the link under rules, or a donation of $5 gets you added automatically. If you are not in the United States or Canada continental, please make sure to indicate your location so that you don't accidentally win a prize that they can't ship to you.
Yeah, we have a couple giveaways that, for technical reasons or logistics reasons, we can't ship across the oceans. So yeah, just please note that if you're not in US or Canada, if your name gets pulled for something that is US and Canada only, and you give us an address that's elsewhere, we'll be forced to redraw. English, hard language, apparently.
Yeah, we'll have to redraw the prize. Yeah. Oh, the stream is slightly more zoomed in than my OBS. That's why I'm in the wrong spot. Interesting.
Oh, I know what that is. I'm sorry, I should have fixed that before we started.
No,
Yes,
it's okay. I just now noticed.
Jesse breaking things? Wow. What's new?
So, what is it that you're building there, Shadow?
Yeah, so this is a Leman Russ. It's a tank from Warhammer 40,000, if you're familiar at all.
Passing.
Yeah.
Passing familiar.
Common story. This is one of the fancier / more of a pain in the rear end resin plastic kits. Also, Resh, if you need the donation link, !donate in chat. We'll give that to you from our friend Nightbot.
Here we go.
Plastic glue our way to victory, so that we can be absolute mad lads and put a giant dozer blade on a tank for reasons of because I have a physical need to do it.
It's the aesthetic. All right, Metallic. Good. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being awesome. I love
Thanks for coming out and rest well.
Have a good day, evening, night, whatever it is in your neck of the woods.
Dave, Eve night, blit.
Day, night.
Dave crossing gently into night.
Dave Grohl? What? Do we have another confession to make?
Confessions.
Are we your fuel?
I'll never confess my Gunpla sins.
You said sins, and now I'm thinking of the stupid worm video.
Oh no.
Stupid worm video?
Clean the worm. Worm is now free of sin.
Oh no.
Which did not know about Worm on a String.
I was here for Witch learning about worm on a stream, and I'm sorry.
I don't understand. General Resh, thanks for the $5. I am in the US and just wanted to say I think this stream has been really awesome thing to see on Twitch. I just got into Gunpla only 1 to 2 months ago, and I don't really know anyone IRL that likes Gunpla, so this is really awesome to see on Twitch. Yeah, if you want more people to see on Twitch, down in the description, there's tons of people there. A lot of them are even good.
This marathon will be continuing until sometime after 9 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
Central Daylight Time, which is gonna get on my case about that.
I am, just because some time zone, some places don't switch. One of our presenters earlier today is still in Central Standard Time because he's a normal person that doesn't do this stupid clock switching thing.
If you're talking about Jack, he's far from normal.
Yes, but at least he doesn't switch his clocks.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? You should be asleep. You want to go back to bed?
Okay.
No? Okay, I'm gonna have to call Grandma.
Bang OpaqueShadow. Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, there should also be a link there to my live stream. Perhaps I will start doing that with greater frequency now that I'm back in the saddle, because I do kind of miss it. Okay, cool. And I think we will quickly magnetize that portion so it sits right. Going to need a very slim magnet indeed for that, but that is okay. Let's see what we have here on the magnet wall of death. You should do it. Those aren't too huge. Let's see if I need to get big drill or if my pin vise can handle. Nope, big drill it is.
So, just so you're aware, there seems to be a small typo on your Twitter bio page with the Twitch stream.
Lol.
Oops.
I will get that fixed.
We're working on a Forge World Mars Alpha pattern Leman Russ tonight.
Sure are a lot of words in that name. As I use power tools. Just slightly too small. Alright, drill index. Come here, you. Nope. There it is, 1/8. Other people snap fitting kits together. Me, the Gigabrain 40k weirdo, getting out power tools to assemble my models.
Hi. Everyone does their modeling in their own way.
Yeah. That's the thing that gets me about resin dress-up kits for Gunpla, because for me, like, one of the things that makes Gundam cool and unique versus everything else I generally work on is that they can be reposed and move around. And like
yeah.
every resin dress-up kit I ever see is, yeah, this turns your Gunpla into a brick.
I wouldn't say that all of them that I've seen turn them into bricks, just the good ones. the ones that are designed to have movement are, the tolerances have to be a lot tighter. And sometimes that's just not there, especially once you're getting into the recast market.
I mean, like, fundamentally speaking, resin is not a great material for that if you've ever done any casting. Resin does not like being square and precise.
At the same time.
Yeah. It's
I
one of the
get why they
things
do it.
that impressed me about this kit, honestly, is I didn't have to heat warp this into shape. Not used to that.
Like, especially for recasters and garage kits, like, a resin mold is a lot easier to make. You just need a silicone mold versus injection blasting molding, which you're getting a giant metal brick that you have to mill into your shape. and be awful and very expensive. So, like, it's understandable why they do it.
Oh yeah, totally. It just, for me, it's like, it kind of... I don't know, maybe this is me, it really defeats the point of building a gunpla for me. Doing all that mess. Okay, I glued several of those together on accident. We will deal with that at a later date. In the meantime, we're gonna see whereabouts on the butt side of this sits. Okay, so take the turret off. We don't need you to sit super tight, but use that to scratch a line. And slightly in front of it. Prep a hole. And this one we're probably just going to drill all the way through.
Magical power tools.
There we are. Oh, looks like crap. Clean it up real quick because twist drills do not like going through thin plastic.
You say twist drills as if there's a different kind. Is there a different kind?
Yes.
I don't know. Yes?
Yes.
My tool foo is not very strong.
That is okay. I will not give you crap about that. There are a lot of weird ways you can drill through things.
Is a hammer a drill? If you're using it to drill through things?
If you use it wrong enough, sure.
Anything is a drill if you use it wrong enough.
With sufficient velocity, anything can be a drill.
My drill will pierce the heavens. God. Hey Sasha, could you grab a picture of the Mechanicus, the Ordinatus drill, please? So as she's getting this, I will explain this. The Ordinatus Ordo in 40k is basically the people whose entire job is solely to build super weapons. Is that not gonna hold, really? That's annoying. I'm gonna have to drill another one in there. Gurren Lagann returns, indeed. Yeah, I'm either gonna have to glue